Monday morning. Better get the to work.
What should I work on? Well, I'll check the bot pop theme. Okay, yeah. I can definitely work with that.
So what are we trying to do when we're composing? Well, we're essentially trying to establish a form, right? A form that spans over multiple minutes of time. That form breaks down into components, right? Those components have components all the way down to the 3s and 2s on the micro level. But we're up here right now, right? We're thinking big picture. So if I know I want to establish a form, then that form is going to consist of probably only 3 different sections maximum, right? It's not going to be more than that, I can tell you that much. And then the sequence of those 3 sections will determine the form, right? The optimal sequence will give us a form, and all of that will be revealed once we just get to work on the first section, right? So it's like, this is where the beat cycle comes in. What number is going to guide this composition? And I'm feeling like using an even number, right? Because we used an odd number before, right? And you have those like counterintuitive syncopation things. But watch what happens when you use an even number. It's actually very, very different. It's like, okay, what's the even number? 24, dude. Happy New Year. So then we got to think about 24 now. Break that one down, right? So right away, 24 strikes me as 5, 5, 5, 5, 4. And then I got to deal with some 5s. So now I can get to work, right? It's time to deal with 5s. We're already on the micro level. We went that deep that quickly, right? And I'm picking D flat because that's what my guitars are tuned to right now. And I'm going to produce this in D flat. So first 5 looks like it's going to be a 3 and a 2, right? Now I got to have 4 5s here, right? I'm going for 24. I know 24 ends right here. See where that ends? That's where I need to get to. So I got 4 5s. 1, 2, 3, 4. And see, I've already come to a realization here that I gotta juggling, right? Juggling on the micro level is doing like this kind of stuff, right? I'm just gonna rearrange 3s and 2s. Now, instead of going 3, 2, 4 times in a row, I'm going 3, 2, 3 times in a row. On the 4th time, I'm going 2, 3, right? This is just that variation logic we wanna always be employing, right? And now I have 4 left, so it's going to be 2 2s, right? It could be 3 and a 1. That does happen sometimes, but we'll do a 2 and a 2 right now. So there's your first 24 beat cycle right here. Now, we obviously can just copy and paste that, right? This one is this is A, right? Number 1 is A, number 2 is B, and the truncation is 3. So let's look at B and see if there's a way we can make this a little bit more interesting. Well, I think right out of the gate, this is the classic, right? Just reverse the first 3 and 2, right? So the first one starts on a 3 and a 2, and then the second one starts on a 2 and a 3. And that's cool because there's something interesting is going to happen with these 3 consecutive 2s, right? I don't know exactly what yet. And I think I can just do 5, 5, 6, dude. That's a good one, right? That's 16, 5, 5, 6, right? And there you go. Swear to God, that is literally the first riff, right? Basically just going to add a backbeat and put this rhythm on the kick drum and then add a backbeat, right? And right here, I'm going 2 and 4. I could put the backbeat on 3, but I'm going 2 and 4, and right away, that's going to tell me that this is going to be at more of like a knuckle dragging tempo. Let's listen to that now, right? Because we have to choose notes. So let's just see if any rhythmic contour reveals itself to us. No, that is too fast. That's like what I said before, right? The tempo, it's knuckle dragging. Did that sound like your knuckles were dragging? Not to me. Not to me. So I'm just picking 80 right now. Let's see if that's going to do it. Yep. Exactly. So this is the point where we let the rhythm tell us what the notes are, right? And we kind of just take it one chunk at a time. So let's just see what that first little bit is telling us. Yeah, I hear this guy popping way out, right? So it's like, if it's way out, you know, that's higher up. It's going to be on the fifth. The thing about the fifth is it doesn't give you any additional information. You know what I mean? It's almost like playing an octave or just repeating the root, right? So the fifth is like, it's not very controversial. So it's like, no, I don't, if I'm already changing the note, I don't really want to go to the fifth. I want to go to a note that's going to actually like tell a story, you know? So that's why it's like, you know, flatted sixth, not that story. No, minor seventh to me is what I'm hearing right there. Like literally, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's the right freaking note. And then it's like, okay, am I about to like hit up the Dorian turbo booster? And I think I might be, dude. And I'll show you what that is, dude. You know what I'm saying? Because remember the theme. Remember the theme. It's like, okay, you want to get in some like Dorian. We have not talked about modes at all, right? In the previous riffs, we were actually thinking more about like moving harmony, right? Now we can talk about modal, right? We can make a modal riff where the entire riff is one mode, right? There's no key change within that riff. This is actually a classic strategy, because then what you end up doing is you add more dimension with chords, dude. We have not talked about chords, right? So there's just a lot to talk about, okay? So back to Dorian, it's like, what are the characteristic notes of Dorian? It's the flatted seventh, it's the sixth, and the flatted third. Those are the money notes. If you only play those notes, it's going to be like funky and knuckle dragging, and that's what this is about, right? So this is obviously the minor freaking third, dude. Watch how sick this is. This is probably already gold. Yes! Okay, now it's like, I just want to stay true to Dorian right now. That's my guiding principle. It's like 24 brought us to Dorian. Let's stay true to Dorian. Keep that same motif going, dude. Like this, right? And then look at it. Now we got this six. See, this is perfect, dude. The symmetry, right? Look how this ends up being like a 2-bar phrase, right? Because this six is going to take us straight to a downbeat, right? So it's probably something like that. That riff right there is probably going to be so gnarly, dude. Listen. Dead! Absolutely dead! And so what I think I want to do is I want to keep that motive, right? Keep that Dorian motive. Notice how the rhythm is changing all throughout it, dude. This is going to be hard to learn, dude. This is going to be hard. This is going to be a funky, good practice riff here. And I love this, right? Watch what happens here, right? The major six slams straight into the minor third, dude. That's that thing, dude. That's that Dorian. Listen to that. This, though, is what I mean, right? I want it to go boom, boom, but it's going to bounce, right? It's going to bounce. The question is it going to bounce off the root, or is it going to bounce off another note? I'm going to, honestly, I think it's going to bounce off the flatted third, right? You see where I'm going with this, right? Boom, boom, but it's like boom, boom, right? So let's just hear what we got. Boom, boom, boom. I think this is obviously going to be the root, and this is where you just like blast off, right? This is where you just blast all the way into cyberspace, right? Look at that. That one. That's the one, dude. Listen to that on loop. That is perfect, dude. Literally perfect. Okay, now we're going to do the second riff. All right, before we get to that second riff, though, this is your reminder to stay to the end of the video, dude, for the earth-shattering announcement.
That funky ride on the back of a tricycle.
So we know right away with riff 2, probably going to want to use that 24-beat cycle again, right? Right, keep that intrinsic congruence, right? The subconscious recognizes the common thread. So then it's like, well, let's do a different organization of 24, obviously. One of the numbers that jumps out at me in 24 is 11, right? I see an 11, 11, make a wish, son, plus 2, right? That's the one, right? And then make the 11s different, right? We're adding another layer in there, right? So making the 11 different, does that mean we go 5, 6, 6, 5? That's not exactly what I was thinking. I was thinking more 5, 6, 5, 6, but the 5s are different, kid. 6s are the same. They're 3s, right? But the 5 could be literally 3, 2, 2, 3, right? Obviously, that's the thing, right? Okay, so let's get straight to work. Already digging into the micros, right? So I got a first 5, that's a 3, 2, right? And then I've got the 6, right? That's 3, 3, right? And now the second 5, right? This is the first chunk of our second 11, right? And that's 2, 3. I like that. That's a nice little juggle. And then we finish it up here. Well, it's not finished. It's got that 6 plus 2, right? There you go. There's the first one. And it's like, should I just copy and paste that? You know, literally to show absolute mercy, like, yes, because I'm going to learn these riffs and I'm going to play the out of them. So yeah, I am going to copy and paste for the sake of mercy here, right? Do I want to juggle up that second one like I did previously? I don't. I don't. And that's a perfect reason to not, right? So then finish that truncation with a throwback to the first measure, right? I saw that coming, right? It's just like the last measure is the same rhythm as the first measure. Perfect. Close the loop, right? Perfect. Okay, that's probably going to be perfect, right? So I would go ahead and anchor that to the drums, give us a nice backbeat counterpoint to reveal all the notes, right? That rhythm goes on the kick drum, right? And then we just add a snare drum. And do we want to put the snare drum on 2 and 4 again? Honestly, we probably do. See, this is going to drag your knuckles real good, okay? So now let's listen to that rhythm against the backbeat and see what notes are revealed. Yes, dude, that's perfect. It's way more downbeat oriented. Every measure has a note on the downbeat. So that's like, we've never even had a riff like that. That's like almost like not allowed, but that's why it's sick. And not allowed in terms of like Meshuggah examples. But you can already see this song is not gonna sound like Meshuggah, right? This song is gonna sound like probably more like Tool, Alice in Chains. That's probably what it's gonna sound like. So what are the notes though? Let's just take this one little bit at a time. I already think I see something, right? I see a parallelism between here, right? And here, right? Because this riff it's gonna sound more or less symmetrical, right? So the first motif of the first half should probably repeat at the top of the second half. That would be right here. So whatever I choose here, probably just, you know, I don't know, maybe I'll change that. But I'm just doing that. That's like a marker, right? So now it's like, I'm doing a thing where I'm like ignoring the beat cycle right now. I'm ignoring the 24 beat cycle. The 24 beat cycle has given me the rhythm I need. Perfect. The thing that jumped out at me is how every measure has a note on the downbeat. So that's what I want to work with. I actually want to emphasize that because that's going to be like that, you know, that's Alice in Chains festival vibe, right? And I think that's where we're headed right here, right? The song is telling us. Now, you remember how the last riff was modal, right? Modal, meaning like it never changed keys. There were no harmonic implications except for Dorian in that first riff. So this is like, okay, perfect. This riff will have a harmonic rhythm to it, right? There will be like some kind of harmonic rhythm passing through as this riff progresses, as opposed to just being like static modal Dorian, right? So that's where it goes. This is like the classic lick, right? The chromatic, always something like this, right? Maybe that's not the right rhythm, but let's see if this could be the moment where you're like, literally, oh, here we go. Yes, literally, dude. The pyramid peaking on the downbeat. See it? Yeah, this one. And then it's like, this note can't be the root because the second half is going to start in the root. So what's any other note besides the root? I want to pop it way out, right? It's like, you know what I mean? Blow off top kind of moment right there. That to me, I like, right? Asymmetry. Finally, some of that. So let's hear that, right? Yes, dude, literally. And then that motive repeats. It's like, okay, yes. You know, the same motive here that was here, right? The halfway point. And now I kind of think I just want to take it in like, you know, the sort of like opposite chromatic direction sort of deal, right? See what I'm saying? Like this is sort of like the counterpoint opposite of that, you know, and the rhythm is different. Wow, this is gonna be hard to learn. Like, oh geez. And then it feels like that's still walking it down before we're gonna walk it back up, you know, at the end here. Something like that, maybe. You just gotta listen to that though. I think it was that. Yeah, exactly. That's what it was. Because we need to get higher sooner, right? And then it's like, okay, which aspect of the harmony have we not explored yet? Well, we've got the chromaticism around the flat 3 and the major third, like classic, right? And then it's like, what about, you know, the flat 6 harmony, right? So we're going to talk about these harmonic things, you know, that's kind of another conversation. Flat 6 is kind of like the prog rock turnaround chord. It's like Tool. Anytime they're not playing the root, they're probably playing the flat 6. You know what I mean? It's one of those sort of notes, right? So it kind of marks like a turnaround signal, and the riff is coming to an end. So I do want to sort of mark, okay, we're finishing it up here. How do we really end on a high note, right? You know what I mean? It's like this note ends up being a high note. All right. Is it going to be that? No, I feel like it's too similar to what we had before. So I see something happening, right? I see the old 2-2-1 trick, dude. I don't know if those are the right notes, but the 2-2-1 trick. Boom! Yes, kid. That's it. Now, I knew I was going to talk about that at one point, where like literally 1 ends up being a micro component that's just as valid as 2, right? So it's like, okay, let's hear this one, dude. This is riff 2, right? Money. That's absolute money. You can literally hear the harmony passing through. Like, that's a highly, highly compelling riff. And it sounds not like Meshuggah in any way, shape, or form. Like, I just want to, you know, draw attention to that, right? Like, beat cycles, yes, Meshuggah showed us how they can be used, but they literally apply to every style of music. And that's this like weird, like cosmic joke of Meshuggah. It's like, we're the like heaviest band of all time, but like our techniques are universal. Like what? All right, so now it's time for that third riff, right? And the thing is, you might have already thought of this. It's like the third riff, it's not going to be in the 24 beat cycle, right? The nature of variations. But what is going to be our common thread, if not the 24 beat cycle? Well, guess what, dude? It's going to be 5s and 6s, right? That's why that 11 was so important, right? Because now we can use 11 again. Right? And it's going to link us up. But the thing is, what I want to do is I want to go even harder with a riff that hits on the downbeat, right? I want to go harder, like a more basic anthem riff right here, right? And I want it to be consisting of 5s and 6s. So like literally everything I just said, it's like the riff's already written itself. So let's go ahead and actually, you know, bring it into the third dimension here. So if I want to use 5s and 6s, one thing I haven't done is I haven't started anything with a 6. Right? So that's what's up, right? Start it with a 6, and then look at that. It's 16s we're talking about, dude. So what comes after the 6? You literally only have one choice, and it's just have to do 2 5s. Oh, but then I have to choose what are the 5s going to be on a micro level. Well, it's going to be a 2, right? Because you're going to have 3-3. You're going to want the next chunk to be a 2, so for sure that. And then to add to like anthemic symmetric intent, I will literally just repeat that 5 as a 3-2, and there's a 16 right there. And that's going to literally be like just like slamming downbeats. So literally I'm going to copy and paste that straight up 4 times. Like that's what I'm talking about, anthem downbeat riff. Like it's just a basic symmetrical riff, like multiple layers of symmetry here. So then I got to figure out what the notes are, right? This is an opportunity to imply some more harmony here, right? So this riff is very simple, but we could still set up some like different harmonic implications throughout. I don't think it's going to be modal like the first Dorian riff. This probably won't be modal. I think the harmony is going to be moving around, right? Because rhythmically, it's already very simple. Now, remember what I said about how you can convince the listener that they're about to hear the same riff, but then it just crosses into another riff? I'm going to do that again, and I'm going to do it on 2 levels, right? So it's going to start on D flat again, right? And then I'm going to use that minor third thing that happened, right? It happened in the second riff. We go up to the minor third off the root, but it's a 3, right? So I like that. And then it starts to get all stirred up here, right? And dude, that might be like actually enough for like an anthem symmetry riff. That's probably good. Literally, don't, like fat, juicy, basic, right? So then it's like, okay, now we want to imply some different harmony here. Let's see about doing that. Probably the classic chromatics You know, something like that, right? Now you're really confusing the listener. Like, what the hell chord is going on here? Like, watch this, though. This is perfect, though. I feel like here, you know, if this is your big moment, you got to kind of keep ascending, I'm going to guess, honestly. Like that, probably. And then how do we finish that? I like to call this the third cutter right there, right? So I go 4, major third, bounce off the root, and slam into the minor third. That's like a classic. I do that all the time. That's that Alice in Chains, like, I'm confusing you with my bluesy third usage. And I'm honestly tempted to do the old 3-1 trick again, just to kind of throw back. It's like a throwback, right? Throwback. So it's the same notes, same rhythm as the previous riff. And I feel like that's it, right? This is cool. All right, let's hear that.
So what's the big announcement, dude? Well, I literally started a school, kid. Yes, an online school called Systems for Creation, dude. And it's obviously for you because you're clearly interested in creating systematically. So what do you get when you join my school? Well, the first thing you get is access to the completely finished version of this song that I just created in the video with vocals, mix and mastered and everything. Additionally, I will be uploading a new song every single week. That's only available to people in my school because the point of the school is systematic creation. So I'm leading by example by creating systematically. And I'll also be releasing exclusive course content that's only available to people in school. Of course, we're gonna have composition show and tell, right? You're gonna be uploading your compositions, you're gonna get feedback, and you're literally gonna become the greatest composer you possibly could be as a result of attending my school. See, what you gotta see coming here is that composers are about to become some of the most highly valued members of society because as we enter the digital renaissance, meaning the decentralization of media, right? Like everyone becomes their own media agency because that's what YouTube makes possible, and people are literally going to need original music, right? They're going to need composers like they haven't needed them before. And Systems of Creation is going to be the epicenter for the new generation of composers who are able to compose systematically. Because what happens when you compose systematically is that you can literally just create a backlog of literally hundreds of songs. And that's exactly why I can literally upload a new song every single week in school because I know how to create systematically. When you have a catalog that's like well over multiple hundreds of songs, you have no problem licensing those songs to whoever needs them, right? You're not emotionally attached to the song. Like I complete songs all the time with vocals and everything, but I'm always open to licensing those songs out where somebody literally gets rid of all my vocals and puts their own vocals on them. That's perfectly fine. Like that's the business I'm in as a composer, and I'm going to show you how to do it systematically as well. You're literally just gonna have access to all my knowledge, like everything that I've ever created, anything that you request, stems, individual loops, whatever, it's all yours in the group. And obviously, if you wanna have personal lessons with me, you're gonna get a disgustingly offensive discount if you're already in the school. So join the school, dude. Like literally, I said it was earth-shattering because it is. Like, welcome to the new reality where you join Systems of Creation and then you become wealthy as a composer, right? This is where it all starts. Join the freaking school, son. Get in on the ground floor. And I will see you in class, dude. Link in the description.
That funky ride on the back of a tricycle. I spit the facts in line.